Hello, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers 39. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend, Roots. The season is upon us, friend, and the reason for the season is pleasing. Have you been getting any pleasing?
Oh yes, yeah. Now that I've heard it once, all right. Now that makes sense. Okay, yeah. I actually am getting some pleasing in VR for sure, but not as much as say a gaming science teacher who I was talking to earlier in Discord, and she's getting a VR Christmas break. And as a teacher, I think that would be really cool, and I don't think it's fair. And I'm halfway happy about it. Happy for her, and not happy for me because I still got to work.
Yeah, that kind of sucks, but I get what you're saying. You know, the way it's been the second half of this year, it's just been balls to the walls with these releases. So I just basically get to go Anthony style,
Hmm.
scratch the surface from one to the next to the next to the next. And finally, I've got a little bit of time off, and I've been sinking my teeth in the bone work, sinking my teeth in the layers of fear, actually getting to play games more than once, which is, it's been refreshing. It's been nice. I'm getting ready to do a U-turn and start heading back in the other direction and hitting Espire 1 and hitting Stormworks and Asgard's Wrath some more. And yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's. I was just going to ask you if you were going to go back into Asgard's Wrath because you were telling me um, that out of all the games, that's the one you've played the least. And it was just another jaw-dropping moment for Roots when Wes said something. I was like, "What?" But I get it. You like put the time into other things where like I'm Anthony it, I'm scratching the surface. Um, you're delving into some of these other titles, so I guess it's all what we want to put time into, right? Because I think I put like 18 hours into it, and then I was almost just about done because it's just too much to chew on when I have so much else to go do, you know?
Well, that's the thing. There's so much else to do. There's always something that I need to be playing. And yeah, I am going to go back into Asgard's Wrath and Stormlands because we have a decision upon our hands, friend. We have to decide what what's going to be the one, and it's a tough decision this year. What's the game of the year? There's so many good games. And the second half of the year has been so epic that I feel like we're overlooking some of the stuff that came out early in the year. There was some solid stuff with Audica and Blood and Truth and Trover Saves the Universe, and I'm sure there's more that I'm not even thinking about right now. Just an outstanding banner year for VR. And we get so caught up in how good this year's been that sometimes we overlook at some of the things that are coming next year because next year's set up to be just as good, I think.
Yeah, which is kind of scary because what you just said, all these things are falling through the cracks, and like we haven't even got to budget cuts too, which we'll probably get to this next week because all these games have came out and it's just like one after another, and I'm not even thinking about all the games. Like I haven't even played Audica for weeks. I need to get back into that, and there's just games that so many games that have came out, which we're in a good place, but at the same time, it's hard to see, and I guess it's because we have so much access to so many games that it can sometimes almost get overwhelming as you're bouncing from game to game or uh, not really grazing, but just like stampeding through stuff. But it's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's probably my biggest problem. Being a content creator, we kind of have a responsibility to touch on a lot of different games that are coming out. But I haven't changed my play style. I still take my time when I'm in a game. I don't rush through. I play it like I would normally play it because I feel like it isn't fair to the game if I'm just blowing over stuff. So I think that's why I don't make it very far into a lot of these because I spend time. I'll put a couple hours, 3 hours in, but not make it very far just because that's my style. But yeah, we've got a little bit of time on our hands now to go back into budget cuts and Aspire 1 and some of this stuff, but we don't have long because January 23rd approaches, and January 23rd is bringing about what is likely going to take the top spot. Unless they just blow it, this is probably going to be my favorite game because I'm a big Walking Dead fan, and this game just looks phenomenal.
Yeah, especially after this trailer slash gameplay was released this last week. It's like it fills in a lot of the gaps, and it just shows how good the gameplay is going to be. And you know, I was already intrigued by the storytelling aspect of it, but this trailer does a really good, really, it's a very good cinematic trailer, and let's just put it that way. And you can tell that in the gameplay that they show, the shooting is clearly not. There's not an auto aim, man. A lot of you get rushing, you're shooting. This guy's shooting shit, and he's missing, and he's having to you know, he's got his gun in one hand, and he's got melee in the other hand, and it just looks very visceral. And I like all the details to all the weapons, you know, all the different aspects and attributes, and assuming I think that everything breaks. I mean, everything about this game looks amazing, and I really think this is probably going to be my favorite as well. I can't imagine anything else being as good as this looks, but I guess it's going to be followed up by Alyx, so who knows, you know.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, you know, we've got a few of the big releases, the dates next year. We've got Saints and Sinners in January. We've got Iron Man in February. We've got Alyx coming out in March. I'm hoping that it pretty much just stays like that, because I need some time to sink my teeth into a game like this. You can tell that it has a lot of depth. There's a lot going on here, multifaceted gameplay. And I don't know if you watched Alana Pierce. She did a video a few weeks ago explaining why Half-Life Alyx will be so great. And she started talking about how she has access to a lot of different development studios, and that there's about to be a revolution in gaming because there's a new style of game is getting ready to take hold, and it's a style where your actions shape the game. Like the world around you is shaped by what you do. And from the looks of it, it looks like, at least for VR, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is going to be one of the first examples we have of that, where you're given decisions, and even to a larger extent than we saw in something like the Groundhog Day game. I think your decisions are really going to shape the game, and I feel like you could play through it 2 or 3 times and get a different experience every time.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, or it sounds like as well. And just some of the what I've seen in the gameplay where they've ran into, you know, they had to go rescue somebody, or he had a choice to either rescue him or kill him, and he's kind of being pressured by that gang member or whatever, whoever it is that, you know, the leader, to kill him, and they don't show you it. It looks like he's about to shoot him, but it breaks my heart inside, because I would never shoot him. I would turn around and I'd shoot that leader, and I'd. So that's the beauty of it, right? It's like you could go through and say, "Fuck that! I'm shooting that guy right in the face, and I'm going to join the gang and just have a completely different experience." And I'm really excited. I was watching through this gameplay, and I was thinking, man, if this was me playing like this little bit as a teaser, I don't know if I could do it. I want to continue on. I would probably be in this game for 3 hours just to because I wouldn't want to stop. That's how good this looks.
Yeah, can you imagine just exploring these crypts in this graveyard here would be just phenomenal when you've got freaking zombies around every corner, you know, and warring factions, different gangs, and run down New Orleans. And I don't think that gets talked about enough. What a great setting. One of the oldest cities in the eastern United States, New Orleans. Just perfect, right?
Yeah, and just all the different things that you're looking at, the drawings on the wall, and you know, there's warnings, and it just looks next level. And I do think I'm assuming the sound is going to be phenomenal. You know, it's going to have that atmosphere, and it looks like the setting, like you said, is a really good setting. So I'm psyched. I'm psyched to. We're about a month away, a little bit over a month, and we're so close.
Yeah, I can't wait. Did get a little bit of news this week. Obviously, Skydance Interactive revealed pre-order details for The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, again releasing on January 23rd, 2020. Coming to PC VR headsets first, PSVR slated for spring 2020, and this was surprising, a standalone Quest version coming later in the year. Did that surprise you as much as it did me?
It does, but it's a different version, so it makes you wonder: is it going to be? I mean, what's the differences? You know, this is a pretty elaborate game, right? And I imagine even if you had it like a dumbed down version graphically, I can't imagine this being a really small game. You know, this is another reason why I've told people that, you know, if you're gonna get a Quest, shell out the extra $100 now, because you know, regardless of what people say, they say that with every technology. Oh man, you'll never get to where you need a gigabyte. Oh, you never get, you know what I mean? If you look through the past of gaming, it's like at some point it always becomes an issue. And why not just spend an extra $100? I always say, unless it's going to prevent you from getting VR altogether, just save up, get the extra, double your space, because one of the biggest things people forget is that 64 gigabytes also is taking up some of it for your operating system. It's not like it's 64 plus. So
Yeah, a few months ago, I wouldn't have believed you if you told me something like this was coming to Quest. But, you know, that thing never ceases to amaze me what they're able to do on it. You see games like Red Matter and The Climb come out on it, and they look, I mean, not as good as PC VR, but comparable. They certainly look as good as like a PSVR game. So, you know, who knows? Maybe with some visual downgrades, maybe they are able to pull off a impressive version of this, even if it isn't quite this impressive. Along with the news came a new trailer and 3 different tiers for pre-order. We've got the standard version, deluxe version, collector's edition. So standard version goes for $40. The deluxe edition, it has a lot of digital extras, $10 more, and the collector's version is even $100 more than that, $150, and it includes several physical items like a backpack, some postcards, some buttons. Roots, I'm a big fan, you know, and almost to the point of being a collector. But when I started looking over that $150 pack, it looked a little bit lacking to me. What do you think?
I don't know, man. It's never been my thing. So, I mean, if people are a collector, I'm not going to crap all over that. I don't get it. I never have. Unless it's something that, you know, you get something for it, you know. I'm just I'm not a big, let's pretend and look at something. But, you know, somebody said something, a backpack or something. I think it'd be cool. But, you know, I think about $100. What could I spend $100 on? Well, the $100 is the difference between a 64 gigabyte and 128 gigabyte Oculus Quest. You know, it's two, or let's say it's Stormland and Alyx. It's, you know, this game and Alyx. It's a lot of things. So I could see myself going for the $50 version with some digital incentives. I don't know what they are, but $10 is not that bad. But, you know, to almost quadruple the cost of the game, man, it better be it better be like something that a lot, I don't even know. I don't think I could justify it. It's just too much money for something like that.
Well, you know, if it had everything that it has now, and they threw in like a really nice hoodie or something that you could see yourself dropping the $50 on,
Yeah.
I could see it. But it was a backpack and like some pins and postcards and just basic swag. You know, I don't think so. Now the $50 one, it gets some weapon skins, and normally that wouldn't mean much to me. But what we're talking about here is we're talking about Rick's revolver, we're talking about Negan's Lucille bat, and Daryl's knife. So even though this isn't the official television version of The Walking Dead, they are pulling out those iconic weapons and bringing them over in the form of skins. So even if you're not a big fan of the comics, you'll recognize some of this stuff, and you can see it there in the trailer. There's Daryl's knife, there's Rick's Colt, and I don't know if the Lucille bat, if that's it over there. It is, with the barbed wire wrapped around it. So those are what you get for the $50 tier. You get a recipe to make these weapons in game, which I think is cool and it's probably worth $10 for a fan like me.
I think it's worth it for sure, because, you know, the biggest thing that I never understand, especially with most first person games like this, you know, Like when you're playing a flat game, a lot of times it's about for other people. You want your character to look cool, like if it's a multiplayer or whatever. But this is immersion in VR, and like you said, just looking down as I'm swinging the bat and seeing Lucille, you know. I mean, I don't need to be smashing Glenn's brains out or anything, you know, that would just break my heart. But that would mean that Maggie doesn't have a husband, so I'm kind of torn. But yeah, no, that sounds really cool. Actually, I think it's worth $10 to me as well. I guess if you're not a fan at all, it wouldn't be good. But you know, I wonder if the bat still is like a barbed wire bat or if it's just a regular baseball bat.
No, it's barbed wire bat.
No, I mean, if you don't the non-Lucille version, because I can't imagine like Lucille having a look outside of it's a barbed wire bat, you know what I mean? Like, so they'd have to take it away, you would think, but maybe not.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the way it seems anyway. I guess we won't know till we get the game. But yeah, it seems, or maybe, I mean, they could set it up because the way they have it, you don't just get these items; they give you the recipes to craft them. So maybe there's another way to find these in game, these recipes, and you don't just start with them. I don't know. I feel like if they're going to charge people for them, you probably shouldn't be able to find them in game, or at least you should have to finish the game or something to earn them. But I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Looks so good, man. Just makes me want to play it right now.
Yeah, I know. It'll be here before you know it. You know, it was just a minute ago Stormlands was coming out, and what was that? Like 6 weeks, 2 months ago that came out. It's been a while now.
Time's flying.
Yeah. All right, so last week we reported on the Video Game Awards and pretty much reported on the absence of Valve and absence of any new information on Half-Life Alyx, and we reported that the theory from Valve News Network was that they didn't show up because they only had teleport footage to share, and they didn't want off the heels of Boneworks. They thought they might take some criticism. That was the theory. Well, this past week we got some more footage and a lot more information from Valve, and that came via the Tested channel on YouTube. Apparently they visited for a couple of days the Valve headquarters, played 3 hours of Half-Life Alyx across every major PCVR headset, and we learned a lot. And what became abundantly clear is that Valve News Network got this one totally wrong. Right, Roots?
Yeah, assuming there was some time in between the awards show and when this was put out. Yeah, but how long would it take to film footage of Norm playing with locomotion? You know, I mean, that particular footage, it's not like it's showing exorbitant amount of footage of him running around everywhere. It's showing little small snippets. And I'm not saying, I mean, it's conspiracy theory, you know, I mean, to me, I just don't think it makes a difference. I think when it's released, it's going to have locomotion. It's going to be amazing. It's Valve. And even if it's a little janky, they'll patch it and it'll be okay. Everyone should simmer down. I do think it's intriguing. I like to think about things like this as far as like, did they rush and you know, what was the reason? It'd be interesting to know what the reason was. If it wasn't the fact that they didn't have footage or locomotion, then what was the reason? You know what I mean? I'm not saying it is, but it is interesting to think about.
Well, they have if I had to guess, we know that Valve has a reputation for being perfectionists. And if they're going to go on a big stage like the Video Game Awards and show off their game, they're going to want it to be something that literally blows everybody away. And maybe what they had would have, but you know, perfectionists stand in judgment of themselves harshly. So they probably had some trepidation about it and maybe felt like it wasn't good enough to go with. That would be my guess. But again, who am I? What do I know?
Yeah. Me too.
Again, Norm and Will played around 3 hours of the game on Vive Index for the first day. Then the next day came back, tested Rift S, Quest, HTC Vive, Vive Cosmos, Odyssey Plus, Rift CV1, even Pimax 5K, and they come away pretty impressed from what they said. It played well across all of them. Really, the only one that they knocked was Vive Cosmos for the tracking issues that they had with it. But besides that, they pretty much gave it a you know a shining A plus from, or at least that's how I interpreted it.
Yeah, man, how would it be to be these people that get to play this game right now? You know, or to be able to say, I've finished it. You know.
Yeah, yeah, that would be awesome. Just to be able to experience it firsthand. Lots of people who are going up there and demoing it are saying that it's the most immersive VR game they've ever played. Some of them, not VR veterans, but others that are. And that's pretty much what we heard from these guys. They said that the sound design was awesome, that the levels are built vertically as well as horizontally, and you can hear things from all around you. Super interactive environments. And I think this is going to be what we thought it was. And all of the things that Boneworks did right, I think Valve is going to take to the next level here with this game. And they're going to dial back that realism physics just enough to get out of the way of the player having fun. And I just can't wait.
Yeah, well, and seeing this has got the horror vibe, the creep value, things really actually coming and hunting you down. And let's be honest, Boneworks, as good as it is, there really is not much story there. It's you're looking for scraps, and it kind of shows you a TV every once in a while. This, you watch the trailer and it's like cinematic, and you're like, the dude's like, you're like, man, on the edge of your seat, because you're like, what the fuck's happening? You're just like, I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with this. But I did notice in this footage, as we were talking, that at one point Norm was teleporting around as well. So they've shown locomotion and teleport. So it just, I would say anybody that says what you said at the beginning, which is, an assumption as much as me saying this is an assumption, but hands down, they got it wrong, could be wrong, because I think they had enough time to where they could have filmed, been working on it. Maybe at that point at the show, it just wasn't ready and they just needed a couple more days. And when Norm did play it, it does have really good locomotion. But I would think that that's all they would show if that's what they were really trying to squash that, unless they were showing, aspects of it. I don't know. There's just so much in this. It's really up in the air, but it is interesting to think about. So.
Well, they did mention that there were some mechanics, plot details, and UI elements that are not finalized. So they are actively working on this game. It is not a finished product yet. That's why it's coming out in March and it's not coming out right now. But it looks like, what they have right now will probably blow away 95% of the VR games on the market, even in this early access unfinished state. 15 hours, Roots. They said that they're estimating this to be a 15-hour campaign, which, as you know, means 20 hours for Wes. And that's 2 Epic Link VR games by today's standards, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's awesome because we were just having this discussion off air that, Asgard's Wrath is almost too much, 40 hours. And a lot of people love amazingly huge games. There's a small portion of people that do. I just think it's by the time you get halfway through the game, you're almost done. It's like, this is a shitload of time I'm spending in here. So this is, 15, 16 hours. I believe in Roots' world, that's perfect. That's right in the middle. And it's not too much and it's not too little. So.
Yeah, I agree. And I used to want like 8 to 10 hours, but as these newer games come out and I'm spending more time just, taking in the world and examining things, I'm not progressing as fast. So when it says 15 hours, that sounds great. 15 to 20 hours, that's perfect for me. Again, the quality of art in this game is astounding, is what Will said. You can interact with so much stuff. You can force pull it over to you, and the sound is spectacular. They really they raved a lot about throwing mechanics, and that's great because that's another one of those things like Melee that I feel like VR really hasn't gotten perfect yet. Throwing always feels a little bit weird in VR. And according to these guys, they nailed it.
Yeah, it's really rare that you find a game that throws I mean, right? Because most VR games don't. So much to the point that when it does throw right, that is almost throws you off. You go to throw it, and it's like, oh fuck, man, that thing flew like it should. You're just not expecting it. So I think that's kind of cool if you can throw stuff around, especially in a game that's all about physics, to make it feel real. And hopefully they'll balance that. What we've been saying about Boneworks, that it's like almost too much, that they need to tweak it a little bit to make it feel better, not be as real. Like it's a little bit too much, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does because realistic physics only makes sense if you have all of your senses. And when we went into this a little bit with our Boneworks review, it doesn't make sense for things to have, full weight in the game if you can't feel that weight in your hand, because then it creates a disconnect and breaks immersion. And they've said as much. They've said that was what the whole door talk was about. Was they could make it a perfect one-to-one representation of how you would open a door in real life, but then that creates problems with the player bumping into the door. And they've spent a lot of time searching for that happy medium, and I think that's awesome. I think that this really is going to be the most complete representation of a VR game that we've ever seen. I think it's going to be on par with any flat game. And if it's not, I don't think it'll be released on March. I think it'll be delayed until it is.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question that's it's on the same subject, but a little bit off. Somebody had mentioned it in the Discord, and I was just thinking about this as you were talking. Hand tracking. If that ever becomes a thing, no haptics, wanting to hold a gun. Like people say Beat Saber feels better on the Vive because you got the wands or controllers instead of what about no fucking controller? Like, how are they going to solve these issues? I don't know. I feel like hand tracking would be it's exactly why I don't freak out about the Rift S not having it, because I don't really feel like we're in a place where we can utilize it. Yeah, it'd be cool to be able to use my Oculus Home without a controller, but other than that, I just don't see the point.
Yeah, hand tracking specifically is going to be one of those interesting things. It'll be cool for its specific use cases, but you're not going to use it to play Half-Life Alyx the same reason you wouldn't use an aim controller to play Tetris. It just doesn't work. So yeah, it's a nice thing. It's great that they continue to support the headset by adding these features in for free. Again, this isn't something that they advertised. It's just something that they did.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's cool for that reason. But no, hand tracking in VR won't be a realistic thing to use as a mainstream way to play video games until haptic gloves become a reality. And we're years from that, if they're ever even able to get that right. That's probably the most difficult problem in VR right now, is developing good haptic gloves. And we have some working prototypes, but they're big, giant, bulky things, not the sort of thing that you can play video games in. But the things that they're working on now, if you grab the gun in game, it puts enough resistance in your fingers so that like it won't let you squeeze through the empty space, so it feels kind of like you have a gun in your hand. That's what they're doing now. But again, these are like big infinity gauntlet gloves that weigh like freaking 20 pounds each. They're not practical for gaming, and they're not even close.
Imagine a technology where they could add make them light, super light, but they somehow can add gravity to the glove to where, like, you know what I mean? Like if something's supposed to be heavy, it really does weight your hand down. That would be, I mean, of course you're running into getting more tired and swinging a sword around, but I just think it'd be cool. But man, it's way off topic, but
yeah, it is. And I think before they're able to manipulate gravity like that, they'll be able to manipulate your nerves and neurons to simulate the feeling in your brain and in your hand before they're actually able to manipulate the physical world like that. That absolutely is a reality. Oculus just bought a company that has technology that reads the nerves in your arms and sends signals through it. So they're on their way to that sort of thing. It's kind of scary, but it's exciting at the same time. It's exciting to see where they're going to go with it.
I just put a chip in your head, bro.
Yeah,
You're good.
Yeah, how else are you going to play the game, bro? Put the chip in.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. What else did we learn? The big complaint they had about, well, I think big complaint's an exaggeration. Their only real criticism about the game outside of the index, they really didn't have any criticism on the index. It was pretty much perfect experience there. But throughout all of the other headsets, those that didn't have a trackpad, the weapon selection was bound to the right stick, as was the turning. So if you want to play this game seated, which they said you can absolutely play this game seated, you don't have to stand for it. It plays well seated. But if you're going to play seated, you're going to end up messing up a lot by going to select a different weapon and turning by accident. And that was a recurring theme during this, is that throughout all of the different headsets, Will specifically seemed to have a problem with that.
Well, I guess it's that not. I guess it's a problem, but it's not a problem. It's just another reason why they can point to index being the best way to play their game. So that's good.
And the only two other tidbits we got was about the actual shooting mechanics and reload mechanics. Seems pretty streamlined. Obviously, you're using a button to use your weapon select, which leaves your over the shoulder there for weapons magazines. So that's where you get your ammo at, from over the shoulder. You do have to drop the clip, grab a new one, manually load it, and rack the weapon to reload, which I think is great. I love it when a game does that right and it feels natural. Also, no auto aim here. So aim down your sights or die. And I think that's the way it should be throughout all games. I don't like auto aim, except for maybe like Pistol Whip. It didn't really bother me on Pistol Whip so much. But in an adventure game, I think it's, kill or be killed. Learn how to shoot a gun.
Yeah, it's Half-Life, man. You're not going to get around it, You're going to have to get good, and if not, you're going to die to some shit in your face. I was just thinking that what were you saying, the controller, I don't know. Totally blown what I was going to say, so go ahead.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. It appears that only one-handed weapons in this, no rifles, nothing like that, at least from what we've seen. Does that concern you at all?
No, I mean, it's just kind of, I remember what I was going to say as far as the switching. I've heard people complain about switching your guns with the button. We want to grab it. We want to holster it, just like we've done on other games. But they've just announced, or what you were saying there, they're really concerned about making this streamlined, right? They don't want people new to VR grabbing their gun and dropping it. And all, I mean, if you drop your clip, that's one thing. But when you drop your gun and you're scrambling to pick it up and you can't pick it up and it's all sorts of weird shit, you're just not going to be able to drop your gun. It's going to make it play better, I guarantee. And people just need to get over this whole, everything needs to be just like real life. I want to scuba dive in a scuba dive tank with a headset on and all this weird shit. It's like at some point, just do it. Just accept some of it, so I don't have to freak out.
Yeah, it's weird. They'll complain about not having holsters for their 8 guns, but who in the hell is going to have 8 guns on them in real life? You know what I mean? It's not like you're going to have one on every shoulder and 2 on your waist and 2 on your chest. You're going to die if you're trying to carry all that, because you're not going to be able to run. I get what you're saying, and it comes back to what we always say. These are games, and we should be okay with them being games, Yeah,
because at some point, it's a game, and what I even like a game that's arcadey, where people say, man, this is just not realistic. I can't really get in the immersion. My thought process is I just got Tron. I just got sucked into this video game, man, and I'm in a video game world where everything looks cartoonish, like Borderlands 2 or whatever. Like you can get immersed. Not everything has to look like real life, and if it does, then I feel very sorry for those type of people because they've obviously lost a good portion of their imagination, in my opinion. Which doesn't make you a bad person. It just means that you suck. No, just kidding.
All right. But anyway, one-handed weapons only in this thing. Does that concern you at all? Do you think that do you want the sniper rifles and the assault weapons?
No, I think it's gonna be more fast paced, and maybe that's their thing. And I don't know. It's definitely gonna make things different. They're gonna be able to dual wield everything, and I think that's cool. So it doesn't concern me. My thing is it's their game. So if I get into it and I'm like, man, this game totally shouldn't exist without a sniper rifle, then I just don't think that should be a problem to me anyway.
What I think it is we were talking about how, VR just now starting to get melee right. They really haven't got throwing mechanics right. They really haven't gotten two-handed weapons right either. The only way that I've ever really felt natural holding a two-handed weapon in VR is with the aim controller, a two-handed controller. And if I had to bet, I'd bet that's why we don't have two-handed weapons in this game, because it always feels weird and feels janky when you're holding a two-handed weapon, but there's that disconnect in real life. So I imagine that's why they left it out, if they did indeed leave it out.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors flying around, huh?
That's how it goes, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I guess that's going to wrap up our talk on Half-Life Alyx. A lot of new info though, more than we got from that initial reveal, basically more than I even hoped we would get from the Video Game Awards. So if I had to have my choice of a 5-minute thing on the Video Game Awards or this 20-minute deal from Tested, give me this every time.
Yeah, because they go into a lot more detail for sure.
Right, and these are VR guys. Video Game Award people are just... industry types that are mostly flat gamers, which it was hosted by Jeff Keighley. I will give it that. So if anybody knows about Half-Life, it's that guy. But I'd rather hear these VR veterans, guys that play every day or nearly every day, talk about VR anytime. All right, so Pistol Whip, we this past week finally got this update we've been waiting on. We got a new level called High Priestess. We reported it on the channel before, based on the hallway fight scene in the movie Old Boy, which I'd never seen Old Boy before, but when I got up this morning, I went into YouTube and watched that fight scene. It was pretty cool. I got to admit, I didn't really see a lot of it in this level. But what about you? Have you seen Old Boy? Do you know this scene that they're talking about?
I've never seen the movie, but I watched the scene today, and I guess there's even a remake with a few years ago or something. But I don't see a hammer, and I don't see. I mean, it was definitely a very different. So much so that I was like, I went back out and I started researching it again. I think, am I on the right? Because I wanted to talk about it because you told me you had watched it, and then I mean, it was a cool scene. It was badass. I definitely think the older version to me looked more badass than the newer one, but that's just my opinion. But I didn't see it at all, aside from the fact that it's in a hallway.
They are kind of swarming you with a lot of guys in this level, and it's melee. It's probably 50-50 melee to shooting, right?
Yeah, except for when I played this level, I did not melee at all. And now that I'm thinking about it, I should have, because a lot of those guys are in your face and you're not even hitting them because they're running by you, and like you can't focus on the guy coming right at you because a lot of times they're not even hitting you. They don't care. They're just, for whatever reason, they're just running by you, probably for the next guy behind you. I don't know, but it's just a crazy level. I tried to do it on hard right off the bat, and I couldn't make it work. So I went to normal and did it on Deadeye, but reminded me that I need to get back into this game because I haven't played it for like almost a month at least, probably longer.
Yeah, Pistol Whip came out and everybody just absolutely was loving Pistol Whip. I mean, just playing it all day, every day. And this is a game that takes practice to really get good at. and then Stormland came out and just killed it, like killed all of the momentum. So hopefully, now that people are hearing about this new level, and it is a very good level, hopefully this will help Pistol Whip start to rebuild some of that momentum. They didn't just add in the new level, they added a couple of new modifiers in. So if you want to practice, let's see, one of them was called No Obstacles, and one of them was called Shooting Gallery, which I'm not sure which is which, but like one of them I know takes the ammunition away from the enemies so that they can't shoot you.
I'm assuming Shooting Gallery. Yeah.
Yeah, they're basically practice modes so that you can learn the level, learn the song, learn where the enemies are coming from, and then after that, take the modifiers out and play normally, which I like. I like the idea of that because, I want to see these levels. That was one of the things when I started playing. I want to see the level through to the end. And some of these, I mean, you got to put some real time into it if you want to see the end of it.
Yeah, it's a good workout though, man. If you're putting that time in, I guarantee you're putting up a sweat. Even if you're not ducking much, you're moving a lot in this game. This is definitely not like if somebody's saying, "Hey, I want to play a game. I just got VR, and I'm one of those people that I have no space. I mean, I literally am in a little tiny space." I would say, you could play Pistol Whip, but you're not going to enjoy it. Like most people, you need to step sideways. You need to duck, juke, jive. I mean. You could probably do it just vertically squatting, but you better have really good legs because it's going to work your legs out big time.
Yeah, for sure. This is one of those games that you feel the next day every time because of what you're just saying there. You can't sit still. If you sit still, you're dead. There's no way that you can headshot all these guys before they get a shot off, and especially in a level like this where there's so many enemies. They're just coming from all directions at all times. Anyway, really my only disappointment with the game, after watching that old boy scene, I was really hoping there would be an elevator at the end of the level with a few more guys coming out. Disappointed not to see that, right?
Yeah, that would have kind of tied it in. But yeah, I think it did a really good job. And what I was going to say about, I feel like just watching back this trailer, the rhythm seems really good on this one, like especially with shooting and then you're boom, and of course I can't hear the music, but it just seems like there's a good rhythm to it. And so I want to go back in and try it again and see if I can play it the way it's supposed to be designed, because I went through and I was on Deadeye and I was just shooting madly because you kind of have to with Deadeye. So
yeah, you're right. The level really matches the track well. The music and the fighting pretty much matches up 1-to-1 through the whole thing, which I enjoyed. And yeah, the melee in the hallways, great, especially with the music. And it's really helpful because, as you can see there, it regenerates your shield whenever you hit one of these guys.
yeah.
So yeah, really helpful to implement that into your strategy.
And if you haven't played this game yet, I would question what the hell is wrong with you. This is especially with the Quest, man. It's one of the best Quest games out there, especially for Christmas. You're running out of time. You need to get it, show it to your family, friends, get them into VR. Break the bad news to them that the Quest is sold out everywhere, and they're gonna have to wait a little bit, and you can enjoy them.
Absolutely. Great on the Quest. When I played it this morning, played this level, that I grabbed my Quest. That's how I played it.
Yeah, that's how I would if I had a Quest, for sure.
Yeah. Games like this where you're moving around a lot, it helps to get rid of that tether. And even though it is a bit more shimmery, it looks pretty similar to the PC version because of this art style. It's not as clean as the PC version, not even close. But it looks really good and it plays phenomenal.
Yeah, let's be honest. Once you're juking and jiving, you're not really worried about how shimmery it is.
Well, I mean, with this kind of art style, I mean, the shimmers kind of fit in with it. You know what I mean? Everything's kind of jaggy and shimmery anyway. You know?
Yeah, true.
All right, it says beyond December, players can expect to see even more free scenes, modifiers, unlockables, achievements, and even an expert difficulty. the article I read said improvements to the Deadeye modifier are also in the works, but I think they already improved Deadeye, right?
I don't know if it's improved or not. I mean, I didn't play it enough. I mean, I thought it was good before, but I don't know what they were really trying to tweak. Do you?
I think it was just the scoring. It
Mm,
said when you went into the game, it said on the thing what they did. I think it was they've adjusted the scoring on Deadeye and something else. I don't
okay.
remember what it was. And they reset all the leaderboards. So screw you, Jarillo. Do it again, buddy.
Yeah, yeah, I did notice that. Well, I went and I checked this one out, and there was nobody on the leaderboard when I finished it on normal with the Deadeye, but I just figured nobody had played it yet.
Yeah, it's coming. The gauntlet has been thrown down. Jarillo is on his way to smoke the world.
Yeah, he's
They,
probably
they were
already.
having a competition on the MRTV channel, and that's what first thing I thought. I was like, man, Jarillo ought to get into that thing because
Yeah,
you can win something. I forget, it was pretty good, like a quest or something you can win for. Even though I know Jarillo's too good to play a quest, but still, you could sell it and buy some attachment for his Valve, right?
yeah, that's true. Well, I'll tell you what, I there's so many competitions for these quests, so many contests, and I've put in for so many of them because I just want a free quest. But I don't know that it's gonna happen. I'll put it out there. It's gonna happen. I'm waiting for my
You know,
email right now.
hey, it's a hot item right now. Every time I go into I kind of always called BS when I heard it's sold out online. It's sold out online. You can't get one anywhere. I'm like, whatever. They have them at Walmart here because every time I go into Walmart, I check. I keep an eye on the stock. It's not this is a small town. I check to see if people are buying, and generally every time I go, there's a couple less than there was the last time. People are buying Quest, but it's never. Only once has it ever been sold out, and that was right after it came out. Um, this past week, I went to Walmart, gone. They didn't have any. Both versions gone. So it really looks like they are sold out everywhere.
Yeah. Well, anyone,
It's
even if you're not
incredible.
going to play the quest, they're selling for like $1,200 on eBay and stuff. So it's a lot of people out there just scooping them up and reselling them. Which I don't know. A lot of people on the Reddits have been, complaining about it, but I just think that's capitalism. And people seem shocked, like they haven't been around Christmas time for their whole life. Like there's always something that you can't get at Christmas time, man. This is the quest year that you want to get a quest. Well, you probably should have got it 2 weeks ago. People are freaking out because they promised their kid they're getting the quest from Santa, and now somehow they coordinated it with Santa in case you happen to stumble on or something. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, there's always something, like you said, that there's a high demand for Elmo or whatever the hell else. How cool is it that it's VR this year?
Yeah, who would have thought, right? And it's not even limited to the Quest either. People, Rift S is very difficult to get a hold of. The only thing that I've seen that you can get a hold of is the Oculus Go, and that does worry me a little bit because I see questions in the Reddit saying, "Hey, I want to play such and such on my Go," and it's like, dude, you can't, And I think a
Well,
lot of
you
people.
can, but you really have to. You have to get one of those no low VR kits and add to it
Mm,
that gives you 6 DOV and all that. It's a clusterfuck if you want to make your Go into a 6 DOV headset. It can be done, but it's a pain in the ass.
yeah, there's just gonna be a lot of people disappointed Christmas morning that think that the parents didn't know or the family member didn't know, and they knew it was Oculus, and it's the only one they can get, and so they're all excited to give it to them, and they're gonna be like, "What is this?" No. Not that it's a
Yeah,
bad thing, but for gaming, obviously, it's a media player.
yeah,
We
yeah.
we've said that before. It's not really a gaming system, so
Right. Yeah, there are good uses for the Go, and it's almost at the price point now where I would actually pick one up just for that. To show people, hey, here, watch this, watch home movies on. I've got the VR camera, and I record 3D movies and watch them back on it. So
yeah.
uh, that price, that 150 price, it dropped to on Black Friday. It's still 150 at Walmart right now. So
So what is the price? 100 for you? that you would think consider picking it up? Or
Yeah, I'd start when it gets down to 100. Yeah, I'll start thinking real seriously about getting one of those, and it will get down to that unless they sell them out at 150, which I doubt because it's been 150 for a year now, and they haven't sold it out yet. So they'll drop it down. It'll go on sale for 100, and I'll have to think about that. Do I want to get one?
yeah,
Because that's nuts for something like that. With that, it has high quality visuals. There's a lot you can do with it for $100. $100, you can't get like a freaking 3DS for $100.
well,
It's crazy.
I knock, I guess in a sense knocked it, as far as the Quest or whatever. But if somebody was going to say, okay, I'm going to buy you a iPad or I'm going to buy you an Oculus Go, I'd say give me the Go. And I think that's where we're at. It's better than an iPad, better than a phone, but not as good as the Quest and everything else VR wise. But
Right. It's not the gaming machine that the other headsets are, but it has a lot of good media uses. There's a lot of entertainment, a lot of fun to be had there if you can get it for $100. That's a deal, man. You can't hardly get a Gear VR headset without the phone for $100.
yeah,
Maybe you can now that they've discontinued the Gear VR, but when it was a thing, you couldn't. It cost $100 just to get that thing to put your phone in.
that's crazy.
Yeah. All right. So moving on from Pistol Whip. Pistol Whip, again, great that they're continuing to support this. This is what we wanted when the game came out, was what we were hoping they would do with it. And looks like they're doing exactly what we wanted, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Big screen. Big things coming to big screen. We reported on Big Screen, a couple of months ago and talked a little bit about their long-term goals for Big Screen. What they really want Big Screen to be is the movie theater, the real-life movie theater with brand new movies in it at your home. And up until this point, it's just been a media player that you can share with your friends online. So you can get online, invite some friends in, put something on your computer, and your friends can see what you're playing. Everybody that comes into your space can watch whatever it is you're playing. It's an awesome piece of free software. But that was just the baby steps, the beginning for Big Screen. Again, they want to monetize this thing by selling new release movies in it. Well, they're not quite there yet, Roots, but they took a big step in that direction this past week as they pinned a deal with Paramount Pictures, and they're starting to show some older movies in VR, some 2D, some 3D, $4 to $5 a ticket in virtual theaters. You can go with the public, you can go privately. They're not showing me really enough here yet to get me to put my money down, but I think it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I think it is. The titles are a little bit antiquated, and that's one of the things that I was telling you that I have a problem with. But there is no way to do it. You can't go from A to Z. You got to go through the steps. So this is their first step. I don't see the point of doing any of the movies. I could see myself like a 3D movie. Just because it's easy, you just pop in there, you get it. Maybe you invite a few friends, or like I was telling you, you and your wife get into two different headsets and you watch a really kick-ass 3D movie as date night on something you wanted to watch in VR already that's 3D. So I think it's exciting once we're at the point where, you want to watch the new Star Wars movie and you want to watch it in 3D and you just don't want to go anywhere. You want to hang out with just your friends. They all have headsets and you all go into big screen and it's even a better experience because I can't imagine wearing glasses. 3D glasses are going to be as good as the 3D that they can make happen in the headset. I think it's the one way that this way of doing it has over going to the movie theater. Because let's be honest, like the movie theater experience is shit anymore. The people around you suck. It's loud. The waiting in the lines, all of it, like everything that's amazing about it sucks. But if you could do it from your house with just your friends and still feel like you're in that movie theater experience, I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah. If they had Star Wars in this thing, like the new Star Wars, I'd be in it right now watching it.
Yeah.
And that's really my only regret here is because I kind of want to support what they're doing because they have to prove to these movie studios that they can make money in doing this. And really, my only problem with it is they don't have the titles yet. And when I say they don't have the titles, the stuff I want to see in 3D is the stuff they're showing in 2D. So, like, they've got Interstellar in 2D and they've got Raiders of the Lost Ark in 2D. If those were the 3D movies, I'd be all about. Or Cloverfield. If they had Cloverfield in 3D, I'd totally watch that.
It makes you wonder if there's like, I don't, because I was saying to you that there's a difference between a movie filmed in 3D for 3D these days than a movie that's moved to 3D. So I don't know. I'd love to see a made for a 3D movie, or even Avatar in 3D, or just something really badass, like you said, or like Cloverfield, or I love Star Trek, maybe even a Star Trek movie. But I think the newer ones that are filmed for 3D are where it's really going to blow up and just be phenomenal.
Well, there you go with the Star Trek. They're showing Star Trek movies in 2D.
Mm-hmm.
Show those movies in 3D. You know what I mean? And I'll give you my $5 at least once. I mean, I'm somewhat interested in watching Ghost in the Shell in 3D. I like the anime version better, but Ghost in the Shell movie wasn't that bad, and I'm sure it'd be pretty cool in 3D. So maybe I'll throw them $5 and watch that. Hopefully they get some better. They say that there are some ongoing negotiations with other film studios, which I think is great. So hopefully there'll be a bigger selection. The way this thing's going to work, let's see here. Films can be seen in either private or public virtual cinemas. $4 to $5 tickets. Each week, Bigscreen will be hosting 4 different films, which premiere Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and showtime start at every 30 minutes. So this isn't on demand. There are showtimes, just like the real theater, but they're in half-hour increments. So pretty much anytime you want to go in, you'll be able to catch it at the beginning. Wouldn't it be cool if they had like 3D previews, just like the movies do? When you go see a 3D movie at the movies, you have the previews, and those are all 3D too.
They may actually, who knows what it's set up to be, but yeah, that would be really cool. Now, let me ask you this. What do you think, or I guess first, what would you pay for, because it's not going to be $5. I mean, I would think what, $10 for a brand new title that's came out, or even like maybe it's a $10 individual ticket, $20 for your own room for 4 people, or 6 people or whatever. Like there's going to be some kind of limitations. And then of course, how do they keep you from somehow, there's got to be some technology, or people are smart that they're going to be able to pirate this shit off their computer the first minute it hits there. I'm sure that's a concern as well, right? Like, cause these movies are brand new. There's a reason why a lot of them aren't even on pay-per-view. And even the ones that are on pay-per-view at the same time, or there's a huge wall that goes through that box and all that stuff to prevent people from doing just that, right?
Yeah, but I think that there are things that they could do by not making the movie shareable on the social screen, so that you're only getting it in the headset, which means if they're going to try to rip that signal, they're going to get a double picture that has fisheye distortion, and they're going to have to try to work all that out, which they probably would do. But I feel like they could probably encrypt it some way. Yeah, I would probably see, 5 times as many movies as I do now if I didn't have to go to the damn theater to do it. And I would pay the same as a movie ticket, $10 or $12 to see some of these movies. I feel like they're a little overpriced at that much at the theater, but if I can stay home and don't have to go to the theater, that's worth something to me. So I don't care to pay it for that,
Yeah. I mean, and if you think about it, it's just another venue for them to release to on top of the movie theaters. Cause let's be honest, we're entering an age where people just don't go to the movies like they used to for a lot of reasons. But I guarantee that the industry is looking for new ways to reach the audience. So there is an interest on the ends of these studios. Probably almost as much as we want it. They want to be able to give it to us this way. They just have to figure out exactly how to do it, and this is probably the best way right here. So.
Yeah, it's an inevitability, just as inevitable as our VR technology is to become mainstream. All of the media is going to come to the internet, and if VR provides the best experience for people to watch movies through the internet, then it's going to inevitably be VR. And I think that it's brilliant that these guys at Bigscreen had the foresight to see where all this was going and build the platform long before the people or the movie studios came looking. You know, it's great foresight on their part. Hopefully they'll be very successful because of it.
Cool. Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, this is launched now. So it's available now on all major PC VR headsets as well as Oculus Quest. PSVR support coming to big screen sometime in 2020. So I always kind of wondered what big screen was going to be able to do on PSVR, and here we go, right? They're going to be able to show movies. They just started the big screen TV not long ago with like 30 some odd channels that you can go in and watch. So even if you can't share your PlayStation, content with your friends, you can at least go into PlayStation and watch some content with your friends. So,
yeah. And you got a pillow on your
awesome.
head, right? It's nice and comfortable. Like Anthony says, it's a pillow, so you're good to go.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you had to pick one, I mean, Rift S and PSVR, those would be the ones that I would want to wear comfort wise.
Yeah.
All right. So back to gaming and back to a game we've been speaking about a little bit lately, a game called Espire 1. A solid game when we talked about it when it came out, but we did have some issues with this game that were holding it back. Mainly the AI being not very good and the difficulty being way too easy. This game is supposed to be a stealth game, but I mean, there's no penalty for just going through it like a juggernaut, Superman with a gun, and taking all these guys out like Rambo. Apparently, these people have heard our complaints and have taken action because Espire 1 Update 1.4 has just hit. The patch update focuses on improving 3 areas of this stealth action game. 1, enemy AI. 2, gameplay. And 3, a graphical update for Oculus Quest. So, for AI, the guards are now smarter in general and may spot you easier if you're standing up. So, it forces you to crouch. It forces you to be stealthy. As well as a line of sight increase as the threat level increases. So, if you alert them to your presence, they can see farther. It's easier for them to see you. Their combat routines are more refined, and they pose even more of a challenge. Not to mention, they select better locations for defensive positioning. Ruuts, this all sounds great to me. What about you?
Yeah, I think it sounds good, and I think the fact that the devs responded so quickly, which is really good, could almost put them up for the award for most responsive. I don't even know what we call it. And the award show, there's one for the devs, right? For ones that are constantly working on stuff, and refining their game. Granted, this just came out, so I don't know if it would quite match that category, but it's a good start. And it just, there's certain devs that as you watch how they release things, I guess it's just like anything in life, you get to see what type of a developer they are, and they stand behind their work, and they listen to the community, and they tweak things. And they, not only that, but these are things that needed to be fixed. I mean, it's great that people are going to like it, but they needed to be fixed, and they're fixing it. So that's really cool. So.
Yeah, it is. It's outstanding. And they say the difficulty of the game has been increased. Various trank dart ammo magazines are scattered throughout every mission in the game, and you will be able to find them using your Espire vision.
Hmm.
So, if you want to be passive, if you don't want to kill your enemies, they're giving you a means to use your gun and still leave them living, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a little bit more stealthy too, right? Like if you're not going around shooting people, you're not alerting the guards. I would think that that would be the really true stealth way to play this game. I didn't notice because I just went balls to the wall, like you were saying, shooting people. But apparently there must not have been too many tranquilizer darts around if they're specifically telling us they're spread throughout everywhere. They're letting us know, like you said, that, hey, there is a way to actually be stealth in this game. You're not going to have to shoot people because, you can't shoot a gun without a silencer without letting guards know that you're there.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do here, I felt this game had a lot of potential, and they're saying all the right things. So I'm going back in this game. I'm going to start from scratch. I'm not even going to pick up from my save. I'm going to start over. I'm going to choose the harder difficulty, and we're going to see. We're going to see if this game makes me play stealthy. And if it does, great. That's what I want. I want for a stealth game to force me to be stealthy. There needs to be repercussions for not being stealthy.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. Oculus Quest version sees a visual quality improvement which revolves around roughness and reflection, especially for key items. Shadow quality and lighting have been modified for the better, which according to the developer is a lot of work to ensure the game still meets 72 frames per second target. Yeah, again, just more great work from the developer. And they say that these upgrades, see, when I heard about all this stuff, I thought, well, what about PSVR? Because, this game had a disaster launch on PSVR. They say these upgrades will be coming straight to PSVR as soon as possible after Christmas.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. Like you said, it was tough to get it to run the way it was. Now they're going to be adding more stuff to it. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, but I enjoyed this game, Roots, and I'm kind of, now that I'm hearing all this stuff, I'm kind of looking forward to getting back into it, and hopefully it'll be something a little closer to what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I am too, because the things that we talked about were the reasons why we were like, yeah, we like this, but we don't really feel inclined to go back in too much. But now I do. I want to check it out, and I think I'm going to do the same thing as you and just start over and just see if it's a completely different experience, and then maybe we can do a review.
I tried to say freeze to this guy here like it said, and it didn't pick up for some reason. Did you do this?
It said, like, in the tutorial, I think I did. I mean, to be honest, once I was able to go around and kill people, I just was blowing people up before they had a chance. I was searching for people to shoot. I was really exactly what you said. I just felt like I'm just going to run around and kill people. But I don't know if did you physically say freeze? I mean,
that's what you're supposed to do. That's the reason why I tried it, because it has voice commands, and you can tell the guy to freeze, and they'll put their hands up.
Huh.
But when I got to that point, it told me, say freeze. I said freeze, and nothing happened. So I just shot him in the back of the head and went on.
I can't remember. I don't remember actually saying it, but maybe I did. And it just worked, and I assumed it was something. I just got up to it. But so do you have to have voice commands set on? I might have mine turned off if it is an option.
I've got voice commands turned off in the tray tool, but I think that that's specifically for the tray tool. I don't think that should affect your game. As long as your microphone's on,
okay,
you should be able to use the voice commands in game.
Now you make me want to try it.
Yeah. Again, want to go back in and play it, because this is, pretty quality level design here. It looks like a pretty good game. It's just the gameplay was lacking.
Yeah.
All right. Espire 1, not the only game to get a surprise update this week. BoxVR, actually, the rhythm games are all the thing right now. Beat Saber getting all sorts of updates. Audica just got a new music pack. People kind of forgot about BoxVR, and we make fun of how many of these games there are, but BoxVR is one of the better ones, right?
Yeah, this is one of the go-to ones if you want to to really get a good workout. There's a lot of squatting, a lot of different options, and I mean, it literally has setups to where you can design a workout program, right? And I mean, it's legit, and the fact that they're still adding to it is really cool, and it's been around long enough to where it's a pretty cheap price. I would say it's definitely one of the better ones.
Yeah, it's on sale right now. I mean, it's not cheap. It's $30 game, but it's on sale on PSVR and on Steam right now. So you can get it for like 18-ish dollars.
Wow.
This is one of those games where you want to watch for to go on sale on the Oculus Rift store. And here's a little tip for you Quest owners out there. Watch for cross-buy titles. Be aware of what titles are cross-buy, because even though they don't go on sale on the Quest store all that often, you can catch them on sale on the Rift store. And buying them, you know, with them being cross-buy enabled, if you buy them on the Rift store, then you get them on the Quest store. So it's a good way to save money on certain Quest titles, and BoxVR, one of those titles. If you see it on sale on Rift, be sure you pick it up, and you'll get it on your Quest as well.
Yeah, I do that for sure, because that blows my mind. $30, man, my lord, that's expensive. I mean, it's a good game, but I definitely would rather get that on a sale. I'm glad I bought it already.
Yeah, this is one of my wife's go-tos. When I first got my Quest, she was really into the BoxVR, and really it took pistol whip to get her away from it. But BoxVR is an exercise-oriented program. It really was more exercise-oriented than like your normal rhythm game. Is more of a music and fun thing. But massive new content update. 12 new workouts, 140 minutes of brand new music available to users of BoxVR and Oculus Quest, Rift S, and PSVR for free. The developer also said that the game has grown to a community of over 100,000. That's pretty big, right?
Wow, that is really good. And I guess I'm thinking about it, you know, all the rhythm games out there, like how many of them count your calories and actually have a legit workout I mean, these are workouts, you know, and I think it's probably is worth $30. I mean, I still would rather get it on sale, but I can't think of one rhythm game that does what this one does, which is a legit workout program. So,
right. Yeah, it is. It is, and it's a real workout too. It's not a game, folks. It's a real legit workout. And I don't care if you're in the gym every day or not. This game will push you to your limit. This app will push you to your limit. BoxVR compatible with Oculus Quest, Rift, Rift S, PlayStation VR, Valve Index, HTC Vive, WMR headsets. So basically, if you've got a 6-stop VR headset, you can play BoxVR. So yeah, free content for what was already a great game. So kudos to the guys at FitXR for supporting their app.
Yep.
Now that's the good side of the spectrum. We don't get mad when games like this bring us this rhythm content, because they were one of the first, right? They're not followers, they're leaders. And that brings us to Blood and Truth. You know, I'm loving all of the content updates that they're bringing to Blood and Truth. DLC number 4, they just keep adding into this game, and the challenges that I've tried are fun, and I'm sure that these are fun too. But man, you know, if I want a rhythm game, I'll go play a rhythm game. I would have rather just had another addition to the challenges like we've had with the other 3 DLCs, right?
Yeah, I want some more missions or something, man. You know, like it's just a game that's designed around a story and doing missions, but they keep adding all these like different shooting modes, skeet shooting, and like you said, it's really cool. But at the same time, like when I watched this trailer, I my thing was like, I'm literally watched that part where the rhythm shooting thing, and my thought was, oh shit, I haven't played Audica for a long time. I need to go back into that. I wasn't thinking, let me grab my Blood and Truth and play some rhythm game. It literally made me want to go play a different game, because that's what Audica does well. And it looks so similar to it. Now, don't get me wrong. If you don't own Audica, you have Blood and Truth, this is your only game. Amazing. But for people like myself that does own two different copies of it on Steam and on Oculus, it just doesn't make me want to go play another version of a shooting rhythm game. But that's just me.
Yeah, Blood and Truth is such an awesome game. And I'm, like I said, the other DLCs were all fun. I enjoyed all of those, and I'm sure this one's fun to play too. But I don't like that they're trying to be something else. Be yourself. You're one of the best games on PSVR. You don't have to try to be Audica, or Pistol Whip. The time, the time attack, the skeet shooting, the trick shots. I loved all that stuff. And this, just makes me want to play something else. Now this that you're looking at here, the DJ table, I think is pretty cool, because I don't know if you made it to that scene in the story or not, but there's this part where you come into a nightclub and you walk up to this DJ booth before the bad guys start coming out, and you can play with the DJ stuff, and it's pretty fun to, you make music and you're messing with the lights. Well, they have expanded that now so that you can go to there and just play around with the DJ stuff, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. I mean, I didn't make it that far, but it makes me feel like I need to make it further in this game. It's one of those games that's long enough or short enough, I guess. I really have no excuse for not finishing it, but maybe I'll go back into it for a backlog report or something.
You just got your pro? Come on, bro. You got to do that. It's literally one of the best PSVR games that there are.
Well, and that's what I was thinking the other day, because maybe that's a good reason why I've never finished Astrobot or this game. I was waiting for my pro, and now that I got it, I'm going to finish them, and that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. So.
Yeah, a great game. Again, like we were saying earlier, that I've got to go back and play Asgard's Wrath. I got to play Stormland. I got to play all these games so I can make an informed decision about which one is the one. Yeah. Blood and Truth, 100% on that list. I got to go back and play it again too, because I haven't played a lot of shooters that feel as good as this one does. I mean, the guns, they feel so good. They shoot so good. They sound like freaking real guns. Just a blast to play this game. I didn't just bring this up so that I could shit on their rhythm challenge that they brought out. We did glean a little bit of news from this, and the news with this update is that it's the final update. There's no more DLC coming, which is interesting when you take it into account with the job listings for this past week. 7 job listings for Sony's PlayStation London studio. All 7 of the studio's current job openings are specifically for VR. So that is exciting, because these guys did PSVR Worlds. They did Blood and Truth. Now they're at work at something on something new. And obviously for PS5, right? This is going to be a next-gen VR game.
Yeah, if they're just hiring now, it's got to be. And it makes you wonder, is it PSVR Worlds 2? Probably not. Maybe this and Blood and Truth 2 would be really good, though, huh?
Yeah, or maybe it would be PSVR Worlds 2 if they're going to release a new headset, by 2021 or so. Worlds was a great demo to get people in. There was some really cool stuff in that. Maybe they would do something like that again. Maybe they're going to do a full game out of Scavenger's Odyssey. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
A lot they could do. Anyway, whatever they do, we know it's going to be top notch. These guys, they get paid the big bucks for a reason. And exciting that they're saying, okay, Blood and Truth is finished now. It's a finished product. Who wants a job? We're making a new game. I think that's exciting. So.
Maybe it'll be a new rhythm game shooter. No, just kidding.
God.
I hope not.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be great if it is, but I've got that rhythm game fatigue, man. I've had enough. Pistol Whip, Audica, Beat Saber. I'm good, bro. Maybe BoxVR we'll throw in there too, but
Tornuffalo.
Outside of that, oh yeah, Tornuffalo, right?
Can't forget that one, man.
Space cats with lasers.
Lasers. Oh man, I bought that game. We need to play that, Wes. It's sitting in my library.
I agree. Yeah, we definitely need to check that out before the year-end show comes up, because who knows, that might be the one.
That could
Game
be,
of the year.
yeah, game of the year.
Space Cats with Lasers.
Yeah.
All right, so we're just about to the end of our news segment here. One more game was announced this past week, and for those of you who will think back to the Upload E3 VR showcase, there was a lot of games that I was really, really impressed with the trailers for. But one of that really stood out was the Soulkeeper VR, and they announced this past week that that they're halting production on Soulkeeper VR. They're not going to finish that game, and for those who own the Soulkeeper before January 15th, they're going to let you have what they've done on Soulkeeper VR for free, which is kind of a bummer. But they also announced this past week the Soulkeeper Chronicles, which they released an announcement trailer. This is a PC game with optional VR support. It says that the Soulkeeper Chronicles is a dark fantasy open world role-playing game featuring 3 different single-player campaigns, each with a different protagonist, with different gameplay mechanics, different intertwining storylines, and 3 different large-scale open-world areas. This is pretty ambitious, right, Roots?
Yeah, and I don't know why. I guess maybe they just looked at Soulkeeper VR and they said, man, you know, like kind of what we've thought with a lot of devs, this isn't going to hold up. Like with everything coming out today, this isn't going to hold up. We need to start from scratch and redo this. You know, a lot of people might not like this. I might be in the minority about this, but I am kind of enthused about the fact that it's both VR and not VR, because that, you know, there's a different standard for non-VR. And so the fact that they're focusing on both tells me that they're trying to double dip, but they're gonna make it good. And the difference is what, third person versus first person, so it's going to be a different version in a sense if you play through. I don't know. I just think it's kind of good.
Yeah, they say the Soulkeeper Chronicles is being developed from the ground up for both traditional PC gaming as well as for VR. The non-VR version will feature a third-person camera, whereas the VR version will be played in first person. Each version comes with the same storyline, characters, and quests, but different gameplay mechanics and different performance optimizations. They say that it's story-driven with a heavy emphasis on player choices affecting the story's development. Now, this is what really encouraged me. We talked about it with The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners and with Half-Life Alyx, where your actions shape the game around you. And that's what they're claiming here for this. It says that story-driven with a heavy emphasis on player choices affecting the story's development. That sounds great to me.
Yeah, it sounds like multiple playthroughs as well, even if it's just, like you said, the same story. If it impacts it, I mean, this is the future of gaming. You know, the story, you have to be able to interact with the story. You have to be able to shape it and change it, or else it almost is like you're just watching the movie and you're not a part of it. For VR, my prediction is this is going to be a staple for every story game in the next couple of years. You have to be able to impact the story. Otherwise, it just isn't as immersive as it can be. So.
Yeah, and as you can see here, it says that the game features fully controllable dragons, horses, as well as ships, all of which can be used for traveling as well as combat. The developer, again, are ceasing development of the Soulkeeper VR as well. So I think that they just got into this, obviously a very ambitious project, and they probably just were putting all of their resources into it. Obviously, this is a indie developer. If they're going to bring this vision to life, they're going to have to give it their full attention, and I think that's probably why the old Soulkeeper VR has just kind of fallen to the wayside.
Yeah.
All right, so with that, that's going to wrap up our gaming news. But before we move on, As we said at the top of the show, the season is upon us, and it is the season for winter sales, and we've got some pretty good sales this winter. So for those of you who are new to VR, or if you're veterans and still haven't got the largest libraries, there's some good sales. We've highlighted a few of them. We just want to run through them pretty quick, starting with PSVR. On PSVR, PSN store right now, you can get Apex Construct, $8. Arizona Sunshine, $14. And this next one, is a must-own. Astrobot Rescue Mission. If you're out there and you have PSVR and you don't own Astrobot Rescue Mission, you're blowing it, right, Roots?
Yeah, something wrong with you. It's the best game that maybe not wrong with you per se, but it's a good platformer, man, and it does the best job of making you feel present in a game on the PlayStation VR in a platform for sure. It's just amazing.
Yeah, tons of levels, loads of content here. One of the best examples of scale in VR. Some giant worlds in this, and just beautiful, a masterpiece. What else do we have coming from PSVR, Roots?
We've got one of the best games you can get in VR, even though it's a short experience. But Batman Arkham VR is out, right? Or on sale?
Yeah, $6 for Arkham VR, and also $6 for Blasters of the Universe, which, in fact, in my opinion, probably still the best wave shooter in VR, right?
Yeah, and it's got a good. I mean, it's just got a good background story to it. It's funny. It just is different. It's very different, very unique. One of the best first shooters of this type. And it really is a bullet hell situation where you're juking and jiving and ducking everywhere to try to not get hit. So it does what it's supposed to do really well.
All right. We've got Blood and Truth for $20, which is half price. Again, another must-own title we just got done talking about. Carly and the Reaper Man, $12. We always said since this one came out that this is perfect for console gaming, right? And here we have Carly and the Reaper Man, $12.
Yeah.
Good deal, right?
That's a really good deal.
Evasion. We've talked about Evasion for a long time. Kind of got a bad rap when it launched for $40. A lot of people were upset about it, but a great game, especially as a co-op game. If you like an arcade shooter that you can go along with a friend, a very high quality game here. $8, a steal for Evasion. Roots, Farpoint, $14. Tell the people about Farpoint.
Farpoint, man, I still need to finish this game. The story is so good on this one, man. It's one of the best stories that have been on the PlayStation VR, in my opinion. It gripped me, makes me want to see what's going to happen next, and the gunplay on this is next level. It's one of the first AAA games that came out for PlayStation VR, and it still holds up to today.
Yeah, still a top 5 PSVR title, in my opinion. It's still one of the very best, all these years later, that you can get on PSVR.
Yeah.
And one of the best games that we got in 2019 was Immortal Legacy, the Jade Cipher. And, this game, people had some initial issues with the control schemes. They've added in some options, and man, what a good one this is for $10, right?
Yeah, and like you've said, this is one of those games where if you want to experience just a shitload of genres all in one game, it just goes from one to the next. I mean, there's just a lot of different things going on, and they do each part good. It's like playing a bunch of different games all in one, right?
Yeah, hard to put a genre on this one, but some of the best horror gameplay I've had this year came from Immortal Legacy, the Jade Cipher, because as you get further and further into this game, it just gets darker and darker, and some real scares in this one.
Yeah.
Intruders, a game that we've talked about, reviewed on this channel, $10, a steal on that game. And here we have next, in my opinion, my favorite game ever, Resident Evil 7. if you have a PSVR and don't have Resident Evil 7, you're blowing it, right?
Yeah, we were just talking about that before the show. Actually, ironically, just how good the horror is in this is like other games that we play horror wise. We put up to this one because there's nothing like the tension of trying to get away from Jack, especially in the beginning when he's chasing you and you're hiding, and you really feel like I don't want to get caught, and then he bursts through a wall, and you're like, oh my god, I need to get the fuck away from this guy. See, there he is, and he looks pissed. So
Yeah, definitely the measuring stick for VR horror. Nothing has come close to this yet in terms of horror in VR. We've got some really good ones, but this is a complete game. It gets everything right, checks off all the boxes. I hope we get another one. Please, Capcom, give us another one. I don't care if it's an older one remade or a new one, part 8. We need more of this. It's just so phenomenal. I wrote the persistence down on the list here, but I didn't write the price down. But if I put it on the list,
it must be
it's
cheap.
because, yeah, it's on a good sale. And again, probably my favorite stealth game in VR. I don't think I've played another game that does stealth quite as well as the persistence does.
Yeah, I need to get back into this just because I don't even know if there's a day that goes by that I don't talk to you that you're not saying something about how good this game goes. It's just so good, right? And even in the Discord, people have said it's just one of those games that you just keep wanting to go back into. And I haven't played it since we talked about it last. So I needed to do that.
Yeah, super addictive, this game, and frustrating at the same time. It's a game where you have to die to progress, and you don't want to die. You know, who wants to die? So, yeah, it's one of those. Couple more here for PlayStation VR. Rush of Blood. I mean, anybody who's watched our channel for 5 minutes knows how good Rush of Blood is, right?
Yeah, it's so good that even though I got the scratched copy over there that my nephew gave me, I've already picked it up when it was on sale during the last sale. It was what, $6, $6 again. My God, what, I mean, if you, dude, if you want even just want to experience a roller coaster in VR, pick this one up. It's great for that, but it's a creepy ass shooter as well, and it is just done so well. And so bizarre, right? All the different levels as you go through, you're like, what the hell is going on? There's pigs being slaughtered around me and just really bizarre stuff that is pretty creepy.
I still use this as a go-to for newbies, like as a demo, because it starts off mild. That first level's kind of gentle. You know, you go through and you're shooting targets, and then you have your little roller coaster part. And then at the end of it, it kind of intensifies. But it's a good example. It's a good example of what it feels like to shoot in VR. One of the best examples of inverse kinematics with arms. I mean, the arms are 1-to-1 in this game, and then you've got the movement with the roller coaster. You really feel it in your gut when you're going up and down this thing. So yeah, an outstanding game. Is still at $6. And for the last PSVR title, again, another one of the best games that PSVR has to offer. $7 for Wipeout. I mean, Roots, come on, man. $7 for Wipeout. They're just giving it away, right?
Yeah, they literally were giving it away if you had a PlayStation Plus a few months ago, right? But yeah, this is $7, man. If you like racing games, it is probably the best example of racing on the PlayStation VR. And it's got so many levels, so many different versions. And if you're like Anthony from VR 365 and you just are a Wipeout fanatic, this is a must-have. I would almost say it's a must-have at $7, even if you're not a big racer fan. It's just that good.
Yeah, I wasn't like heavily into racing or anything, but this game, it's so fast and it ported so well. I mean, can you tell any difference at all between the flat version and the VR version of this thing? Other than obviously you're in the game and it's 3D, but what I mean is like from a graphics and sound perspective, it's perfect, right?
Yeah, and it's just so fast paced, and they just do it. It's done so well. The port, like you said, it's probably one of the best ports that have came from onto PlayStation VR, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, it's like they made it for VR. It's like literally like this game was made for VR. And yeah, just looking at it makes me want to go play it.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to wrap the PlayStation VR. Roots, what do we have coming from Steam?
All right, Steam. We're going to start right off the bat. We're going to go big. We're going to go large, and we're going to go with a title that has kind of gotten lost in the shuffle with all the big games coming out. But this is one of the biggest ports on PC in the last year, and that is No Man's Sky. And yeah, it started out a little rough. It was a little bit rough in the just like the original launch. Especially on PlayStation VR, it had some jank, but man, this game now is running smooth, looks beautiful, and is huge, and really is almost no reason not to pick it up, especially at $30. It's a good deal.
Yeah, No Man's Sky. It wouldn't be No Man's Sky if it didn't have a rough launch, right?
Yeah.
So as per usual, they've got the issues mostly straightened out on it now, and it's one of the best we have in VR. I mean, as far as AAA titles goes, I feel like a lot of people forgot about No Man's Sky because of what's come since then. But this absolutely in the conversation for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
All right, next, for those of you who don't have a Valve Index and you know that you're going to be picking up Half-Life Alyx, but you don't really want to drop that $60 on it, you can get 10% off right now. $6 off, $54. We just found out this is a 15-plus hour campaign, probably going to be the most complete VR game we've ever seen. I think $54 is a fair price, right?
Yeah, especially for this game. Now, my only thing about the sale, I guess it's going to go all the way up until it releases, right? That's a pretty good deal. I'm 50-50 whether I'll own an index before it comes out, because I don't think it's going to make or break the experience, but I do plan on getting one eventually. Just kind of waiting for a lot of the weirdness to get ironed out, which is slowly starting to happen, but it's taken a while since release with all the controller issues and stuff. So
yeah, they're getting there. From what I hear, they keep making progress on it. So yeah. Yesterday's, standard holders, the games we used to look to as being the best in VR, Skyrim, Fallout, used to always be $50 games you could occasionally get for $30. It looks like the Asgard's effect taking the toll on the price tag on these. $18 for both of them. Fallout 4 VR, Skyrim VR. Used to, you could never get these games for $18. I think that it's a no-brainer at that price, right?
yeah, what a great deal. And especially if you're looking for games that have, teeth to it, that's going to give you a lot of content, especially, either one of them. You pick out Fallout 4 or you pick up Skyrim, and you're going to spend 20 plus hours at least, and you probably won't even be that far into the game. So
yeah, phenomenal games. The best of Gen 1, probably. The flag, the flag bearers, at least, these are the ones everybody wants, the ones everybody knows. $18, pretty good deal. Payday 2, considered a AAA game, even if it is short. $1, Roots. How cheap can Payday 2 get? It's $1.
it could be free, but even at $1, man, why are you not? You should have at least have it in your library. It's a good multiplayer. Right. If you want to rob a bank or something with your friends, this is the game to do it, right?
Yeah. And just recently, the developer started supporting the game again. There's got DLC on the way. So a good time to pick up the base game for pretty much free, less than a price of a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
You can own Payday 2.
Yeah.
I mean, Taco Face costs more than Payday 2. What the hell, man?
Yeah, that's the thing. If you own Taco Face and you don't own Payday 2, I think there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, for sure. Dirt Rally 2 launched recently at $60, $18. Now's the time, right? If you're into this sort of thing.
Yeah, this is the time, because $60. The biggest thing with this is, and I've seen some people say in the Discord that there's better deals you can get if you wait a little bit longer to try to get the ones with the DLC. But if you're not interested in the DLC, And this is definitely I mean, $18, that's what, 70% off, I think. And that's a huge deal. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it looks really good. I'm interested in checking it out, just not interested enough to take time to check it out.
yeah. Well, and I mean, I don't think it would be that much fun without the wheel,
Right.
from what I've heard. And since I upgrading my wheel and sent it back to maybe get a Thrustmaster or something, I don't have a wheel right now, so I'm not that interested in picking it up right this minute. So
Yeah, yeah, I hear you there. Crow Team Bundle. Always one of the best deals when they have these big sales is the Crow Team Bundle. All four Serious Sam titles, plus the Talos Principle, which is widely regarded as one of the best, if not the best puzzler in VR. $16 for these 5 games. Roots, I mean, again, a must own at that price, right?
yeah, and if you haven't played Serious Sam in VR, man, oh my God, this game, especially the last couple, are so good, and they're done so well. They feel so good. They are fast paced, but I was telling you before, there's not, we kind of take into perception wise, I've been doing this for almost 3 years VR wise, and so I'm very aware of this. I've played the hell out of it. You think, okay, the Crow Team bundle again. We're gonna talk about this again, but with so many people coming into VR, man, your $16 is the best. This is the best deal you're gonna get, period. Right now for games, you could just have got your Rift S and or whatever, even the Quest with the tether, and $16, you have all these good titles, and they're just amazing. So
Yeah, yeah. It would be, I skip over it a lot when we do these sale things, but every now and then you got to bring up what a good deal the Crow Team bundle is. It's ridiculous how cheap it is.
yeah,
Doom VFR, awesome game, $9. Doesn't run quite perfectly on pretty much anything, but again, $9 for a solid title. Accounting Plus, $5. Definitely, even though it's short, one of the funniest experiences in VR. If you got somebody who's new to VR and you want to make an impression on them by making them laugh, Accounting Plus, $5. You can't beat that. Roots, Until You Fall, $14. This is one of the best games of the year, isn't it?
yeah. And this is got such good melee, and actually is really challenging. So and there's a story to this, right? It's been so long since I've been in, but I believe there's a story to it, but I can't remember much about it. So
Yeah, I wouldn't call it story driven, but there's definitely a story here. There is a progression. That's the difference between wave based and rail based. At least the rail lets you go through the world and has a bit of a story. The waves generally don't. So this is kind of rail based. You do have movement through the arenas, through the areas, but it's procedurally generated. It's very unique, though. Not very many procedurally generated games come off this well. And yeah, a great game, $14, a good deal. To the Top, still one of the best in VR, especially for those of you who like to climb, who like to get that sense of heights. To the Top, still one of the best games in VR, $8, a great deal.
yeah,
Speaking of great deals, Seeking Dawn, $6. I
wow,
mean, come on, dude. This is an awesome game. How this game ever made it down to the $6 mark is beyond me. It blows my mind. This game is a legit $20 game, right?
yeah. I think it's because of the release, because the release was so just like a lot of other games that come out, they get kind of janky, and a lot of people still have that perception. And so they just they're trying to get people in, but this game is really well. They did the optimization patch pretty well the last time, and runs much better. And there's so much to this content wise, and just even the weapons. I love the way you craft weapons, and it's just really good.
Yeah, great game. Great game. It really is. $6 is ridiculous. The Gallery from Cloudhead Games. Part one, part two of this. Story driven, very, very high production value. Some of the best of Gen 1 VR. Bundled both together for $18. a great deal, right?
Yeah, it's a good one too because a lot of people try the first one and they don't realize the second one's definitely better than the first one, but they kind of need to be both be played. And so you play the first one and you don't try the second one, or if you just try the second one, you're not really aware of what's going on. So I think it's a really good deal for $18 for sure.
Yeah, and some of the best graphics even to this day in VR in these games. Just beautiful.
Absolutely. And good puzzles, So
Yeah, yeah. A good game, good story. I mean, yeah, good games. Not the most action, but good game. Jing, The Land Beyond, $8. I put this one in here because people rave about it. I've never played it, but $8 is a steal for this game, right?
yeah, I'm surprised you've never played it because it's very puzzle oriented, very heavy puzzle. So much so that I almost didn't like some of the puzzles because they're weird, they're different. But people, they rave about this. It's one of those ones that Anthony says he loves to sit on the beach and just just chill and watch the waves come in. But yeah, it's very beautiful and very immersive as far as the atmosphere goes, for sure.
Yeah. It looks like my sort of game. It's definitely high up on my list of shame, but just another one of those victims to the year of VR.
Yeah.
Blasters of the Universe we already talked about. $4 on Steam, even cheaper than PlayStation VR. Robinson, The Journey. It's fucking dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
$6. Come on, what are you doing?
$6, and it's actually a pretty good story, man. It's definitely, to me, it's like especially if you have kids, it's a must-have for kids. I mean, it's more kid-oriented, the story-wise, but it's such a beautiful world, right? The dinosaurs, especially, and actually, this is one of the ones that I need to go back in and check this out on my Rift S. I don't think I have since I got my 2080 and my Rift S, and I want to check out how good it looks.
That's a good point. This is, if you like to explore in VR, this is your game. So many different kinds of wildlife that you can study and find in this game, plant life as well. Just hours and hours of exploration here, and a beautiful game, even on the first gen headsets. I can only imagine how good it looks on the new stuff.
Yeah.
Freediver, we reviewed it. I played through it in its entirety. A beautiful game, short but priced appropriately. One of the best experiences I had this past year. Roots, I love this game. $5, a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. And what's good, this game did well was it really did make you feel the panic of, like, at the times you needed to get to places, you're underwater and just the swimming with your arms. It did a really good job with immersion. And like you said, even though it's a shorter experience, for $5, that's perfect, man. It's definitely worth the price of admission.
Yeah, immersion. The swimming mechanic was just perfect. Intuitive swimming. Yeah, just a great experience. Hopefully, I know that these guys are working on something right now. I don't know what, but I can't wait to find out what it is. Hopefully, it's a full version, either a full version of Freediver, or like what I would really like to see is a game that does both. Like it takes what they did from Evasion with the shooting, and then there are parts where you swim, like an adventure game that incorporates everything that they've done well already. I think would be great. Hopefully that's what they're doing.
I was thinking more along the lines of Escape the Titanic or something, that, or what was that movie where back in the day and the ship flipped over upside down, and I think it'd be cool to have a really cool storyline where like an actual story game that's legit, like that, where your ship sank. I guess that's what this is, but
that's exactly what Freediver is.
Maybe a little bit more story oriented, but yeah, I guess it is. So
yeah, just more of it, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, I get it. Yeah, awesome game. Again, can't go on enough about Freediver. Gunheart, a game Roots and I played together recently. A blast. AAA production quality here, right?
Yeah, and for $10, man, this is a no brainer. This is the closest game I've felt to playing Destiny in VR. And I mean the movement is next level. I mean, you better have your VR legs for sure because you're jumping around, you're triple jumping, you're it's very fast paced. The only thing that I wish that they would do with this is they could improve the AI a little bit. I mean, got all these games improving AI, and I would love to see a next level. Not that the AI is bad; it's good, but I'd like to see like a phenomenal AI level for a game like this for sure.
Yeah, but still a load of fun. The co-op's a blast in it. It's got drop in, drop out co-op with it. A great game. With another one of the best of Gen 1 VR. Um, that's going to wrap Steam, and those were just a few of our picks. There are literally hundreds of games on sale on Steam right now. If you're waiting for a game to go on sale, go look for it. It's probably on sale on Steam right now. We looked at the Oculus sale. Not quite as impressive. There was a few titles. There were a few titles on there that we thought were a pretty good price. Brass Tactics. Rich, you played Blast Tactics, right? You enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good, especially for this type of game. If you like, uh, these RTSs, then it's really good. It's done well. It's one of the best ones, and they give you the starter version for free, their arena or whatever it is. You can play a little bit, but you don't get to go in as much detail. And as you just saw from there, this is the Age of Empires 2 made this the game, or same developers, so it's done very well. And for was it $10? $9. Oh God, yeah, it's definitely worth $9. I mean, the thing is, I think it's a $30 game if I'm not mistaken, and it's a lot for this type of a game. But for $9, this is a no brainer. I think you should pick it up. Like you, so that I can play it. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, Dirt Rally 2 we already spoke of, $18. If that's your sort of thing, you're not going to get a better price than that on it. Carnage Chronicles, $13. One of the better indie games that are out in VR, right?
Yeah, and they just they keep adding to it. I think they got one more level they're adding to it, at least from what we aren't able to access, or at least last time I went in. But it up until a few months ago, this was the best dungeon crawler you could get, and it was just amazing. So,
yeah, awesome. To the Top, we already spoke of. Again, one of the best VR has to offer for $10. Headmaster, one of my very favorite palette cleansers in VR is Headmaster. No controllers needed, only the headset. And just addictive gameplay and a lot of good comedy here, right?
yeah, and you think a lot of people would think it's just you're just hitting a soccer ball, but man, it gets better and better as you go along. Just the story and the quirky comedy to it, and it's not easy. These things are not easy, and it's done very well. I played soccer on my whole youth, and it really does feel like you're heading a bowling ball into pins. Well, maybe not that, but there's just it's unique. You're doing these things that you're like, what is going on here? It is never. You're not going to be bored. You're not going to be sitting there thinking, okay, you're just looking around at all the shit, and it keeps dropping really bizarre stuff, man. It's good.
Yeah, a wacky, wild time. The physics are phenomenal in this game. It really feels. I mean, you could almost feel that freaking ball hit you in the head, right? Even though it's not.
Yeah, it's done very well.
Yeah.
When we first talked about it originally, when I think it was Mamefan picked this game or somebody, and I was like, "What the hell is Headmaster?" You just don't know what the hell to expect. But even when I heard the premise, I was like, "Eh." But it's so good, especially for the price on sale.
Yeah. Great game. Hope it comes to Quest. It's perfect for Oculus Quest.
Yeah.
Especially with the party mode. I think that this would be a great game for Quest. So hope to see that at some point. Westworld Awakening. One of the best of 2019. A game from Servios. A great television show. A great premise. Pretty good game, right? $10.
Yeah, well, especially since it just came out, and that's a third of the price, pretty much. It's a $30 experience, and I felt like that was a little expensive to me. So $10 is, I mean, the no brainer. Pick it up. I mean, everybody is raving about this. I just saw Anthony was talking about how good this is. He's finally getting to the Westworld party, and it reminds me I still haven't tried Chapter 2. Man, what is wrong with me, dude? I want to play this. I watched that whole season 1 so that I could do the rest of the game, and I haven't tried it yet. So
Yeah, you and me both. It's another one of those backlog deals that we keep talking about. Probably every few days we talk about getting back into this game, but we never seem to do it. It might be time, right?
yeah, I think it is.
Speaking of which, Doors of Silence Prologue, also $10. Also one of the better games I played this year. Certainly one of the creepiest, right?
Yeah. And again, this is another game that I was like, man, I wish it was a little bit cheaper. So now's the time to pick this up, and it's definitely got a creep vibe, and it's definitely worth $10 for sure.
Yeah, and with the you don't get a good horror game in VR every day, and this is one of the best of the year. Again, another one of those that I've been meaning to get back around to. Need to make time for it, right?
Yeah, who doesn't love little bloody creepy babies though, So
yeah, it was definitely creepy. Giant rats and little creepy babies.
Yeah. No brainer, $10.
Yeah, $10. Go for it. Bloody babies.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's going to wrap up the news segment for the week. Is there something we left out? I highly doubt it after all that. But if there was, be sure to leave a comment down below. And of course, Discord. We're in our Discord every day. There's an invite in the description. If you want to talk out any of these topics or something else, you can find us in there pretty much any time. That's going to bring us to our everybody's favorite part of the show. And that's the part where we talk about the Monday show 19 coming up tomorrow. Roots, what is our first game that we're going to be talking about on the Monday show tomorrow?
This first game, I've been waiting for months, or at least a month since it came out on the Quest. Didn't even know it was coming out on the Rift S until all of a sudden it was just dropped. And that is The Under Presents. And this game for me, just played it probably 2.5, 3 hours so far in the last couple days. Is just so bizarre, so unique, so different, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Oh, that's what I love, Roots. That's what I love. We talk about it a lot here, how people need to do their own thing, have their own idea, and it certainly seems like The Under Presents does that, if nothing else.
Yeah, agreed.
After that, we are going to talk a little bit about Boiling Steel. People keep raving about Boiling Steel. We kind of overlooked it. We announced when it released, but we didn't play it. We kind of looked past it, but people keep talking about just how great Boiling Steel is. So we're going to find out for ourselves, talk about it on the Monday show tomorrow. All right. In our topic for tomorrow, we're going to kind of forego the usual topic, that we normally have a discussion about. And what we're going to talk about tomorrow is the 2019 show. As you know, we've been planning this party to celebrate the best year ever in VR, doing all sorts of giveaways. We've got like 30 some odd games we're going to be giving away. And we're going to be giving out awards as well for different categories. We finalized our categories this past week, and we're going to be talking about those categories, each and every one of them, tomorrow on the Monday show. We're going to list them out, tell you what they mean and what we're looking for. And then after that, you can go onto our Discord. We already have the channel up now. You can go onto our Discord at any time and vote for who you want to win in each category. And not only do we have 30 some odd games to give away, we have 30 some odd categories that we're giving awards to. So it's going to be an epic party. But again, not just our party, your party as well. So be sure to go onto the Discord either today or after you watch the Monday show tomorrow and let us know who you think should be recognized in each category. Roots, I'm excited for the 2019 party, the 2019 show. What about you?
Yeah, me too, man. I am excited to hear what everybody has to think. Like, I have my idea of what is the best in all of those 32 categories we listed. I mostly know your idea, and I definitely know Mamefan's idea because like Mamefan fashion. He was the first one to get that in there. It was very complete. Every category had a game. He even went back and did a remission on number 5, which is cool because I would say if we had to give awards to our audience, Mamefan would be the most active participant in the community because he's just always there. He's always commenting. He's always being Justin, which is awesome.
Yeah, we have a few really good that are in there every day, guys like Gerillo and Driven By. We have a core, but love our community and looking forward to seeing what you guys all think about these categories. Not your standard categories, mind you. We put the virtual strangers twist on them, and I think you're going to like. At least a couple of them are going to make you giggle a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's going to wrap up our show this week. We'd like to thank you, friends, for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It really, really helps out to have you guys subscribe and help our channel to grow. And don't forget the notification bell if you want to stay up to date with all of our content here on the Virtual Strangers channels. With that said, we'd like to thank you, friends, for watching. And for Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Easy.